"You're too sensitive." Ever heard that before? Maybe someone told you that you overthink too much, that you should toughen up, that life is easier when you don't feel everything so deeply. Well, maybe they're right. Maybe life is easier when you don't think too hard about what people say, when your heart doesn't beat like a war drum before making a phone call, when you can walk into a room without analyzing every breath, every flicker of movement. But here's the thing. I wouldn't trade my sensitivity for anything, because without it, I wouldn't be standing here today. Post-COVID, the world went from muted to deafening overnight. Every hallway, every conversation, every expectation, it was all just too much. I didn't know how to exist in it without feeling like I was constantly drowning. I think about Frankenstein's creature a lot.
What chiefly struck me was the gentle manners of these people, and I longed to join them, but dared not.
He never asked to feel things so deeply, never asked to be built with so much pain, and yet he was. And when I first read Frankenstein, I saw myself in him, wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, to exist in a world that sometimes feels too harsh for those like us. I hate not knowing why something is the way it is. So I dove into research, into psychology, into the science of sensitivity. And I found an answer. More than that, I found myself.
I invite you to imagine living with all of your senses on high alert. You also have a vivid inner world where all of your emotions are magnified. The sadness is a deep sorrow, and the joy is pure ecstasy.
Loud noises feel louder, bright lights feel brighter, and words, whether spoken or written, stay with me for longer than they should. It also means I care, a lot. And for years, I thought that was a flaw. I accomplished a lot in my second year of high school. One of those things was being a tutor for an algebra class full of freshmen. That was one of the scariest things I've ever done, since my own journey with math has always been complicated, to say the least, and I've always been a socially anxious person. The environment was one of constant overstimulation, and combined with my lack of confidence in the subject matter, I dreaded going to that class every other day. Little did I know all the amazing things I would learn from the experience. I also built a boat with my dad. After 6 months, a few problems, less money, and lots of effort, we launched it into the water hoping it would float. That's the thing about the ocean. It teaches you to let go. Sailing was freedom, but also fear, kind of like being a highly sensitive person. You can't control the wind, but you can learn how to move with it. Seeing it float and sailing it for the first time was an unforgettable experience. And, at the end of the year, I received letters of thanks from all my algebra students, each more heartwarming than the last. That's when I truly realized the impact I had on them and how much I had helped them, despite my introversion, anxiety, and sensitivity. I've always been an artist, ever since I could hold a pencil. Art has never just been a hobby for me. It's how I process the world. It's how I understand it. For as long as I can remember, being sensitive has meant being porous. Everything seeps in. The colors of a room, the tension in someone's voice, the silence between words. Sometimes it's overwhelming. But in art, it becomes a language. In The Namesake, Gogol is constantly searching for identity, for something to root him. But just like Gogol learns to make peace with his history and name, I've learned to make peace with my sensitivity. My art is how I've claimed that identity for myself. It's a way of saying, this is how I see the world, and it's worth being seen. Junior year is when things got real. I knew it would be tough academically, and it definitely was. I felt constantly overwhelmed, juggling demanding classes that drained me mentally. My drawing time, the one thing that kept me grounded, started slipping away quickly. On top of that, I still needed PE credits to graduate, So, reluctantly, I opened up the list of after-school sports, hoping to find something that would let me be outside, but not force me into a loud, high-pressure team environment. As someone who's quiet, introverted, and sensitive, nothing stood out. But, weighing the pros and cons, I decided on cross-country. Cross-country is brutal. It's mud in your shoes, lungs on fire, every ounce of your body screaming for mercy. It's a sport that hates the weak. I showed up and reluctantly powered through the first 2 weeks of difficult training until our first race, and that's when everything clicked. That feeling of pushing through with a team by my side, it was something I'd never experienced. For the first time, I felt what it meant to struggle with people and not in spite of them. For the first time, I wasn't too much. My emotions, my intensity, they fueled me. Running wasn't just about speed, it was about feeling. The wind, the ache in my legs, the joy of moving forward. Nature didn't tell me I was too sensitive. It welcomed me exactly as I was. To say that cross-country helped me survive high school would be an understatement. I joined during junior and senior year, the busiest, most chaotic years of high school. But instead of adding to my stress, cross-country became the anchor that kept me grounded. Running taught me how to manage my time, balance my life, and gave me a way to release everything that built up during the week. It became a part of who I am and something to look forward to no matter how crazy things got. I made more friends on that team than I had in the first 2 years of high school combined. The people I met opened me and helped me grow into someone I never imagined I could be. Through running, I didn't just find strength. I found the courage to carry my sensitivity with pride. Everyone told me this would be the easy year. Lighter, slower, a breath after the storm of junior year. But instead, it was filled with uncertainty, college, the future. Everything started happening so quickly, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do or where I belonged. And for someone like me, someone who finds comfort in having answers, the unknown felt like a black hole. And then I saw Interstellar, for the 6th time. It's been my favorite movie for as long as I can remember, so when I found out it was being re-released in IMAX for its 10th anniversary, I stayed up until 3 a.m. just to grab tickets at the Metreon. That experience was unforgettable. It reminded me that not everything has to be figured out to be meaningful, that some things, like love, purpose, connection, can't be measured or planned. Sometimes we just have to trust ourselves, the people around us, and the paths unfolding in front of us.
Although they may struggle with change, they are open to new information, they are able to change their mind, they are open to learning, they're open to admitting if they've made a mistake or if there is a better way of doing something.
College decisions were still overwhelming. I had nerve-wracking phone calls with college coaches, I went on my first date, I reconnected with old friends, I started therapy, I went to every single school dance of the year. All things I never imagined I'd be strong enough to do, even a year ago. If there's one thing I want you to take away from my project, it's that sensitivity, which is often perceived as a weakness and source of pain, can also serve as a profound source of fulfillment when nurtured and valued. I've spent so much of my life feeling like I had to hide or toughen up to be accepted, but to feel intensely is not a symptom of weakness. It's the trademark of the truly alive and compassionate. I took this project as a reclamation of that part of myself and an effort to show others that sensitivity can be resilient, powerful, and a source of success. Our generation is often told that we're too sensitive, but I think that's exactly what the world needs. People who care deeply, people who feel, who create, who refuse to be numb. So if you've ever been told you're too much, I hope you realize that you're exactly enough.